Welcome back to E-Magazine. If you're just joining me today, it is Trendy Friday, where we look at business, entertainment topics that have been trending throughout the week. And of course, I always have special guests, and the one and only who's been helping me break down the conversation is James Kaminjuki, who is from One Tribe Arts Group. I got it right this time around. I'm so proud of myself. Now, before we took a short commercial break, we were just talking about, what the British government is doing to help the arts industry, art space, especially during this period of COVID-19. You gave me some nice figures, talking about the growth when it comes to our own entertainment industry in Kenya and where we're going to be in the next few years. Something we're just talking about earlier and even before the show is, especially with COVID-19 happening, creatives like you have found a different channel, different spaces to still make a living, to still do their work, to still be the artist that you are today. And the government is over here stepping in and still trying to milk money from you. Yeah. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on that particular issue.
I mean, to be honest, the government is still in business like any other industry. I kind of view it as an industry like any other, the government, I mean. So for me, anytime they come up with new taxation avenues, I'm just like, yeah, fine, you guys are in business, I understand. It's hurting, it's annoying, but hey, we kind of have to live with them and just be like, okay. But at some point, as I said, itabidi. We all go to the drawing board and be like, you guys, there are things you can touch, there are things please don't touch, just like any other industry. But I mean, because it would be wrong for me to be like, F the government and not that type of thing. I understand fully they're in business, so I think it's one of those things where we just have to reach a consensus and be like, you guys.
We have to work hand in hand.
We have to.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the next conversation we have in the books today, which is about Spotify expanding into Russia. Now, it was first reported by Music Business World and confirmed by variety sources. July 15th will mark the Swedish streaming giant 80th territory, home to nearly 100 million smartphones. Per MBW, Spotify is expected to partner with Russia telco MTS for its launch. Now, you see, Spotify is expanding, just like you mentioned. It's nearly 100 million, home to 100 million smartphones, right? What are your thoughts about Spotify expanding into Russia, and what does this even mean for Spotify?
Not just Spotify, but streaming platforms in general. Now people are home. So that means people are not doing gym, things that take them out of the house. So that means you're in the house most of the time. What that means is you kind of either watch a lot of content or listen to a lot of music. And so for streaming platforms, they're really enjoying this period for sure. The kind of people like Netflix as well, they're kind of enjoying this.
They're making so much money from this period. It's quite funny how some industries are losing money and some are just making the best out of it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, okay, Spotify is expanding. It's expanded into a lot of territories globally, but why do you think they have not expanded as much into the African market?
I mean, they're making headway in Africa, but they kind of need to set up more solidly Ukwivi. But what I think they must venture into now is subscription fees for members on their platform. For example, if an artist has an album coming out, I think what they could do is make their content exclusive to consumers and then charge a cost. So that means they make money as well as a consumer, because even going forward with performances not being available to us, for artists it may make sense to now do Spotify memberships for special content and that type of thing. So I think that's what they kind of need to think. If they're not thinking that way, they're in market territory. But I think for streaming platforms, that's what it means for them, just raising the subscription fees just a bit higher so that they could make more and cover their markups.
Okay, and being someone who's worked closely with a lot of artists in Kenya, would you say they are making money from streaming platforms?
Not as much as we should be, I won't lie, but I think the trajectory is somewhat convincing now, with a lot more players in the game taking shape. The MOOCs, Dundo is kind of revising how they work. Spotify is also coming in. Audiomack is also doing a number of things for us guys. So over time, we will have to make money, because there's no other way to do this.
Yeah, it's very true.
and even globally, the trend has grown pole. Trajectory-wise, it's grown pole. About 5 years ago, I think the uptake was maybe less than 10%. Now we're talking about uptake of streaming platforms up to 40%. So over the last 5 years. So in my opinion, I think we will start making money at some point.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. And right now, since we're in a space where we're kind of forced to make use of streaming platforms or just social media platforms in total to make money as creatives, would you say consumers are willing to pay money to get a concert or something of sort, get to see King Kanga perform or any other artist in Kenya?
I think consumers are willing to do anything as long as the narrative given to them offers an incentive.
Okay.
So I think it's purely industry players who need to control the narrative and somewhat know, okay, what do the consumers need, what do they want, and then figure out how to communicate to them to get them to spend some money on you. I think that's the only way to look at it.
Well, I like how you put it.
Thank you.
Well, James, that brings us to the end of our conversation. Thank you so much for making time to join me. I loved everything you said, honestly. I've also loved myself. Well, there you have it. That is James Kaminjoki, who joined us today on Trendy Friday, just to give us his perspective and thoughts on the conversation we had today. We're going to take a short commercial break, but it's not the end of magazine yet, because you know it's Friday, so we got to give you guys an idea of what to do during the weekend, and that's why we have Events Diary coming up right after this.